Hello, good evening, and welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Siambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: Legacy Lodge gutted as KAPALALA market fire victims continue to complain. President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA urged to suspend student loan repayments. MWILA casts doubt on PF bouncing back to power. In international news, Angolans are going to the polls for the 5th time. And in sports news, government urged to enhance investment in Paralympic sports.
Are you a business organization or an individual with a dream to register your presence in Zambia and around the world? Waste no time, because Camnet Television is offering an opportunity to sponsor any of the following programs: the main news, national matters, breakfast show, the verdict, partnership of greatness, economic briefcase, business and sports news. For more details, call following numbers. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Our dear Camnet family, on the 22nd of August at 20:30 hours, I'm hosting Honorable Gary Nkombo, the Minister of Local Government.
The agenda is not an overnight sensation. It has never been. And we are just praying that the Zambian people are going to hold our hands to find solutions together rather than by our own selves. And part of what requires to happen is for people to be patient.
Join me on national matters. Should you have a question to ask in advance, forward it to 0962 965 883. I am your host, Pastor Chiluba. God bless Zambia.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello again, another news in detail. The Chingola Municipal Council has demolished about 400 structures that were illegally constructed along an airstrip. Municipal Council Town Clerk Namukolo Kalufanya notes that the local authority and the Zambia Civil Aviation resolved to demolish the structures as directed by the central government. The town clerk has since advised the people to cease from encroaching on land.
Directive by government that we do some demolitions here at Kasombe airstrip. As a local authority, we came to actually implement the same. We had almost 400 structures that had come, that were erected within the airstrip. When we did agree with civil aviation, we actually resolved that we're going to do demolitions in an area of 140 in length and then 350 on the sides. You may be aware that this is in the best interest of the nation, considering that Kasombe airstrip is actually very
Meanwhile, unknown people have burned 2 properties belonging to the Chingola mayor after accusing him of allocating them illegal plots. The irate residents accused Johnson Kangombe of being the one who sold them the plots at Kasompe airstrip in Chingola, where their demolished houses were. Copperbelt Province Commanding Officer Sharon Zulu confirmed this. And on August 19, a meeting of stakeholders was held at council chambers to plan ahead of the demolition. Mrs. Zulu said it is from these meetings that today, around 02 hours, council officials and state police started the long-pending demolition exercise, which eventually led to the arson at the Chingola mayor's 2 properties. She, however, said unknown people burnt Mr. Kangombe's 2 properties, a guest house and the servants' quarter situated in Kasompe area. Legacy Lodge in Lusaka's Ibex Hill area has been gutted in the late afternoon of Saturday, the 20th of August 2022. The fire brigade was on the ground to quench the fire. The cause of the fire and the extent of the damage has not yet been established by broadcast time. Just recently, KAPALALA market in Masala Township on the Copperbelt province was on fire. The incident occurred on the 17th of August 2022. Assorted goods worth huge sums were destroyed on Tuesday night as fire swept through parts of KAPALALA market, which is located in Kabushi constituency. Theatre and music artists who are victims of the recent fire at KAPALALA market in Masala Township have called on the government and the corporate community to come to their aid through the rehabilitation of the Masala Cultural Village and purchasing of music equipment that was lost in an inferno. Since the time the fire occurred, focus has been on marketeers among those who lost goods to the fire. But, however, some artists have also suffered huge losses. Veteran theatre practitioner Ben Mokola and Distro Komboka band leader Andy Mutafu have shared with Camnet News how the fire robbed them of their livelihood. Here's a report.
Fire's impact on people's property and the environment in all countries around the world. In some cases, the resulting losses are extraordinary, causing debts and widespread damage to property and contents and significant impact on the environment. The gutting of Masala Market in Dola on the Copperbelt province has affected many people, and the Distro Komboka band has lost the entire musical equipment to the fire and looting by people purporting to be fire rescuers. The theatre and music artists are appealing to the government and the corporate community to assist them with the rehabilitation of Masala Cultural Village and purchasing of equipment. The group is now stressed about how to repay the loan and, most of all, how to survive.
This has been my playground for a long time, but then artistically I feel like this is the beginning of the end. We got a loan from the Presidential Empowerment Funds for Artists, and we are administering cultural dance, music and drum, and we got the equipment. We started well, but we couldn't go very far because the coronavirus also hit us hard. We had to stay 2 years in lockdown, no performance, no whatsoever, not until just a few months ago when we started picking up, coming up from the slumbers. This fire again hit us. I don't know how we are going to get out of this because we can't service the loan, we can't perform anywhere. The equipment that we acquired just gone and burnt to ashes like this.
The group is known by some of its major hits, such as Maggie.
Ndelele mwana, Magi ndere mwana vilimba tukalira mwana utae Magi wewe ndere mwana vilimba tukalira mwana utae.
The Distro Komboka band won the Ngoma Awards twice as the best band winners of 2004 and 2006 respectively.
So we are appealing to well-wishers of the government to come in and assist us in any way we can. So far, we are in a deep grief. It's like a funeral, not having any tool to use. We won the Ngoma Award in 2006 and 2004. Yeah. Then from there, when we move toward the Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Sweden, and we used to have Charlie Musenja as a band leader. Me, I was the vice. So after his death, I took over that place as a band leader. Now the song was
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Education Hope Foundation board member Knight Silumesu says inmates are citizens who also require an academic opportunity to learn and add value to their families and the community. Speaking during a signing of a memorandum of understanding to sponsor inmates and other vulnerable citizens in society between Supershine University and Education Hope Foundation, Mr. Silumesi says the two agreements signed will provide scholarships to 1,000 inmates and staff members across the country. Meanwhile, Supershine University Legal Counsel and Registrar Joe Malulila says the university is geared to supplement government's efforts to steer inclusive access to education. More in this report.
Those behind the walls of correctional facilities are looked down upon and find it hard to reintegrate into society once they complete their jail term and return into society in dignity. For quite some time, inmates have been provided with technical skills that would allow them to be competitive on the labor market once they return to the community. And in order to ensure that inmates are not left out in the free education policy, Supershine University and Education Hope Foundation have signed a memorandum of understanding to sponsor inmates and other vulnerable citizens in the society. The scholarships provided gives inmates an opportunity to take up any courses of their choices. The two signed MOU will provide scholarships to 1,000 inmates.
None of us is immune, to being in a disadvantaged state. So we consider our colleagues that are in correctional facilities as still citizens that have a lot of value in our society, and we are happy that this opportunity will give them a platform to continue to advance their careers, even while incarcerated, so that when they come out of there, they can add value.
Supershine University Legal Counsel and Registrar says the university is geared to supplement the UPND administration free education policy.
With this memorandum of understanding, Supershine University is going to sponsor 1,000 students on scholarship, where they only pay a very little amount in administrative fees. We're trying to make it easy for higher education to reach inmates and also the less privileged.
Education Hope Foundation Executive Director Charles Mubabe says the awarding of 1,000 scholarships is a landmark achievement to the inmates.
Our main objective as EHF is to advocate for quality and access to education in all correctional facilities. We believe that if quality education is offered in these facilities, it will contribute to the national development and ensure public safety. As a result, most inmates will acquire professional skills to blend in with the trends of the world around them.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Several stakeholders have come on board to condemn the move by some persons with cross-cutting disabilities of camping at the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities offices, demanding the appointment of their preferred Director General. Amongst the stakeholders is a Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion in Zambia Director Ian Banda, who says the protest has negatively affected the viability of the agency. More in this report.
The past few weeks has been characterized by a syndicate of persons with disabilities protesting at the Zambia Agency for Persons with Disabilities. The protests are as a result of them demanding that the former Acting Director General Nicholas Goma is retained and confirmed as Zapid Director General. Persons with disabilities that have staged camp at the agency in Lusaka to offer solidarity state that they will not leave the premises not until Mr. Goma is retained.
Mupoke disability card so that naimwe move pa empowerment. Otherwise mulefu okwangala pabwa cheta mwangere sana.
18th August 2022 saw some stakeholders come on board making appeals to the protesters to vacate the premises so that they can allow the agency to operate effectively.
In touch with the people protesting, and we have been getting their views, their demands, and we have been telling them to say, look, yes, you want the Mr. Nicholas Goma.
Fast forward to 20th August 2022, most stakeholders have come on board to give mixed emotions about the issue. We interviewed the Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion in Zambia director Ian Banda, who had this to say.
About the incident which is happening at the pit, first of all, I wish to indicate that it's a conveniency because government work towards persons with disabilities has come to a standstill because they cannot mainstream programs that has to do to benefit us persons with disabilities. I think the law is very clear, and I would urge those people that are protesting to take their grievances to appeal to either to court.
Mr. Goma has been taken back to his position as the Senior Welfare Officer under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, a position he held before he was appointed as Acting Director General at ZAPID. Chairperson for Kanyama Disabled Persons Association, David Banda, also aired out his views.
Let those old regime go back. If at the moment bagoniga ma programs yonse if ma disabled unoganya azikadi patakana, we don't want
kuchombesa manini manyazi pesa kuti muntu ni disabled then pamene ukamba paziko lanu pamene ulimo kushauta minister ba minister watu kamba vintu vosayenera pa sokuleli watu bali monga wa minister.
Only time can tell whether Mr. Nicholas Goma will be returned as confirmed Director General of ZAPID. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusa.
Former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis MWILA has charged that the party is likely to lose an opportunity of bouncing back into power if the ruling United Party for National Development administration performs according to people's expectations. In an exclusive interview with Camnet, Mr. MWILA, however, says the former ruling party is banking on the misfortunes of the UPND administration in order to stand a chance. More in this report.
With only 4 years remaining till Zambia holds its 2026 general elections, the former ruling party, Patriotic Front, has a hope of bouncing back into power. The opposition party has on several occasions stated that it is rebranding after losing the 12 August 2021 general elections to the United Party for National Development. Claims the current economic challenges being faced gives the party a chance of bouncing back. Despite holding this view, the opposition Patriotic Front seemed to wait upon how the UPND administration will perform to determine their chances. In an interview, former Secretary General of the PF Davis MWILA says the party is likely to lose an opportunity of bouncing back into power if the current ruling party performs according to people's expectations.
So what we are saying is that at the rate we are moving, with the economic challenges the people are facing, it is likely that PF can bounce back. Because the bouncing of PF into power, it is dependent on the performance of the UPND. If the UPND will perform well, I can tell you our chances will not be there. But at the rate we are moving, it is possible that we can bounce back.
Meanwhile, Mr. MWILA says the one-year performance of the UPND administration in office is not impressive.
In terms of performance, if you look at the promises that they made too many promises to the people of Zambia, and very few promises have been fulfilled. And if you look at the economy, they said that they are economic managers, and they were going to reduce the price of minimum to 50 kwacha. At that time, it was 110. As we are speaking, minimum is now at 150 to 160. Two, they said that the fertilizer, the farmers will be buying at 250. At that time it was 900. Now it is 1,200. The fuel price, they said that PF is stealing 3 kwacha from 1 liter. Now they've increased by 9 kwacha. Are they stealing 9 kwacha?
PND administration is on record saying on several occasions that it has not backtracked and will fulfill all campaign promises within the 5 years mandate. The recruitment of teachers, health workers, among others, are some of the things that have been pointed out.
This economy, from even a villager like myself, is doing well. It is doing well. My minister is here. From the little I know, that even the inflation is going down. Yes!
Though indicators show that Zambia's economy is in a crisis, many citizens continue to live with a hope that with a change of government, the high cost of living, which has become extremely high for an ordinary citizen to afford, will be addressed. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, Patriotic Front Media Director Antonio Mwanza has charged that President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA must be forgiven for his remarks that he was going to sell the Gulfstream G650ER presidential jet when voted into office. While in opposition, Mr. HICHILEMA vowed that if elected as president, he was going to sell the Gulfstream G650ER and give students their meal allowances, among other important needs. In reflecting on the United Party for National Development government's administration's 1 year in office, Mr. Mwanza believes the president made the remarks out of ignorance and politicking. And Mr. Mwanza has reminded the president to uphold the promise to reinstate meal allowances and suspending loan repayments among students. Here's a report.
The issue of the presidential jet was a topical matter in Zambia, especially in the political circles in the build-up to the August 12 polls. The Gulfstream is fetching around $66.5 million, equivalent to over 1,067 million kwacha. The purchasing of the jet by former President Edgar Lungu brought a lot of debate among those for and those against the move in the country. Queries of priority arose owing to the fact that the country was experiencing a number of social and economic challenges such as the high debt burden and the high cost of living. While in opposition, President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA vowed that when elected into office, he was going to sell the jet and give students their meal allowances, among other important needy areas.
Someone asked the question, I said, the first money to support youth programs is to sell that presidential jet. I found a buyer. The people of Zambia don't need that jet. What the people of Zambia need is youth employment through this social contract.
But Patriotic Front Media Director Antonio Mwanza has charged that President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA must be forgiven for his remarks that he was going to sell the Gulfstream.
For us, would like to forgive him. I think he was saying that he will sell the jet out of ignorance because he didn't realize and he didn't know. He wasn't in government before. He didn't understand that all planes that are used for presidential purposes are property of the Zambia Air Force, and therefore they are not for sale. So we take it that either the president was ignorant of this fact or the president was simply politicking.
And Mr. Mwanza has reminded President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to uphold his promise to reinstate meal allowances and suspending loan repayment among former students.
We are concerned, though, that the president has continued to ignore and neglect the students at University of Zambia and Copperbelt University, particularly over the issue of a meal allowance. The president did promise the young people that immediately he wins elections, he will give them back the meal allowance. And this is 1 year down the line. The University of Zambia and Copperbelt University students have not been given back their meal allowance. There's another thing that the president promised the former students of these universities that had access to student loans. He promised them that once he comes into office, he will suspend the loan repayments of the loans that the students gotten, student loans. Up to date, he has not suspended those loan repayments. We want the president to stick to his word and suspend the loan repayments.
But UPND National Youth Deputy Spokesperson Phineas Pumulo says in a period of 1 year, the UPND has been cleaning up the mess that was left by the PF and has urged Zambians to remain optimistic as the UPND delivers on its commitment.
We are going to fulfill the promises within the mandate which the Zambian people gave us. Very soon, you are going to see the meal allowances being restored. We have not drifted away from the promises that we made. I hear people are saying that why is the president not selling the jet? The reason is very simple. This is why the president is not using the same jet, because it's one of the campaign promises that the president made. And I can assure you, the youth of this country, that we need to keep the faith. The president is working around the clock to make sure that all our campaign promises are fulfilled.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Republican Vice President Mtalena Lumango has urged women in the country to take the lead in spearheading development to change the negative perception in society that only men can lead the agenda. Speaking during a fundraising dinner held by the Eagles Ladies Club from the Zambia National Service at the service offices in Chamba Valley Friday night, aimed at building a mini hospital in Mpeka district of Muchinga province, Mr. Lumango notes that such initiatives should be supported. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, Eagle Ladies Club patron Angela Solochi says bringing key facilities such as hospitals closer to the people is not only the duty of government, stating that it should be done by all well-meaning citizens. More in this report.
Long distances to hospitals or other health facilities has for a long time posed as a barrier to the delivery of timely health care to most Zambians, especially those in rural areas. This has resulted in reports of women giving birth along the road in some instances, as they have to overcome all obstacles to getting to these facilities, including crossing streams at times. Mpeka district is one such area, which despite Zambia's goal to attain good health and well-being for all by 2030, does not have adequate health facilities to meet the demand both in quantity and proximity to many village settlements. The Zambia National Service, through its Eagles Ladies Club, has therefore come up with an initiative of constructing a mini hospital at its recently built ZNS milling plant in Mpeka district, which will also service the surrounding community. Speaking during a fundraising dinner aimed at contributing towards the construction of the mini hospital Friday, Republican Vice President Mtalena Lumango says it is commendable that such initiatives are being spearheaded by women. She adds that once constructed, the mini hospital will also help in reducing the number of maternal and infant mortality rates, as women will be able to access maternity services in good time. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, Eagles Ladies Club patron Angela Solochi says the situation in Mpeka district, where some citizens have to travel 15 kilometers to access health services, is not unique to the district alone, adding that there is need to expand such initiatives. The total cost for the construction of the mini hospital is approximated at a rounded off figure of 65 million kwacha, and various stakeholders who are present at the fundraising dinner have pledged various amounts towards the initiative, while the call is for more stakeholders to contribute towards the cause. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
It's census time. The 2022 Census of Population and Housing will be conducted from 18th August to 14th September 2022. The census collects a lot of data for use in various aspects of social and economic planning for the country. We are all required to participate in the census by being counted. You will be counted from your usual dwelling place by a census enumerator. Please receive and cooperate with the census enumerator and provide the required information when you will be visited. Your responses to the census questions will be treated with strict confidentiality and will be used for statistical purposes only.
Hi, I'm coming to count you.
Because everyone counts.
This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency with support from the UNFPA.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Welcome back. The Commuter Magazine team leader Liswaniso Mwanalushi says a lot of bus and taxi drivers are abusing drugs and alcohol while carrying passengers, thus endangering their lives. Speaking during the launch of the Creating More Demand for HIV Testing and Mental Health Services at bus stations, Mr. Mwanalushi states that the act is worrisome as it puts both the drivers and passengers at risk of getting involved in a road traffic accident. He notes that alcohol abuse also affects their ability to reason, thus engaging in casual sex, which he says is contributing to the spread of the HIV in the country.
The coordinating advisor, we look forward to the bus station audiences welcoming us. The mode of spread of message will be mostly through the flyers we have prepared. Those who will be following our activities, you will see them in the bus stations. Our program also, our awareness program also, will result in the production of 5 short films. These will be talking about mental health and HIV testing. We want to be playing these videos in the buses, the intercity buses. And also, we want to be distributing these short videos through smartphones. You are aware that many people in Zambia have challenges in reading. They would rather watch videos than read. So, we are using this short.
Ngombe Ministers Fellowship Apostle Diosos Kanyanta has urged Christians to maintain holiness and avoid any act of wickedness because God is coming to take away the burden of affliction from his people. Apostle Kanyanta says as the fellowship is preparing to hold its international crusade titled Jesus Crusade, Christians must seize the opportunity to be in attendance and worship God. He has called on the faithful to prepare to meet the Lord on the 25th to the 28th of August 2022 when the program will begin. Meanwhile, international evangelist Daniel Dutoit says Zambia is a nation of peace and must maintain that by way of fellowshipping and giving glory to the Lord always.
I love Zambia, one of the reasons because it is a nation of peace, and the respect they have here for men and women of God is phenomenal. I think it's very obviously important still to realize that even in politics, in everything, that still the #1 answer for Zambia, for Africa, is the Church of Jesus Christ. And I think we need to realize that whether we're in business, whether we're in politics, whether we're in the church, that we don't just look to a president. Yes, we honor this president here of this nation that we love, but once again, the person that will save this nation is Jesus Christ, because no president, no politician, no government leader, no businessman died for this nation.
This is the opportunity that God has brought here in the South for all of us. I can encourage all the communities, especially the communities nearby, to come and attend this crusade, because they may not know exactly when God will meet them at the point of their needs. To those who are in far places, the ministry has organized buses to go and fill them, to fetch them from where they are coming from up to there.
The Church of God in Zambia says it is important to introduce empowerment programs in the church, as they will help alleviate poverty levels in various communities. In an interview with Camnet News, Reverend Joseph Banda says the introduction of skills development programs to the youth and women in the church will engage young people in more meaningful activities. Mr. Banda adds that the church has a significant role to play in curbing illicit activities amongst the youths and women in the country. Here's a report.
Cases of defilement, teenage pregnancies, fathers impregnating their daughters, and people killing each other have risen amidst the Zambian population. Surely one can wonder where the world is headed if people can get comfortable in engaging in illicit and criminal activities, such as extreme decisions of a mother dumping an infant or killing their own child. Zambia, by definition, is a Christian nation. Hence, the expectations of the country is having high levels of morality and good values amongst its people. One way that can help people avoid illicit activities is strengthening skills development programs in different denominations. Camnet TV caught up with the Church of God Zambia, who are conducting a conference that will see young people empowered with different skills. Precious Malunga is one of the participants.
Is beneficial to me because it's adding something to my life and it's changing my life. I always tell the youths, or I would advise our youths to normalize studying the Word of God and sticking to the Word of God, because it is only the Word of God that can help you.
And Church of God Zambia National Deputy Education Director also had a say on the matter.
We believe as a church to take part to help the youths to fight against these addicts and preaching Jesus Christ to them, and we believe that the church, we have to win the individual, the families and the community in the societies.
The turnout that the youths have come together from all over the part of Zambia. Others, they come from far of Zimbabwe, others northern province. So it's good, and it's our opportunity as youth to learn, just like the teachings that are here, to empower the youths, starting from businesses and how they should live in the society.
Meanwhile, the youth director has appealed to the youth to desist from indulging in illicit activities.
Why we've decided to come up with a conference which theme state, as I quote, "Occupy till I come." We discovered that God gave us an assignment to occupy, to take charge, to preach the gospel. And the Great Awakening is not just a mere conference, it's a conference that is changing destinies of the youth.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
And conquer the market. So that was some of the things that you as an entrepreneur and a business person should think of.
Irrigation development and nutrition improvement activities are progressing well in Northwestern Province. The Ministry of Agriculture staff have continued to receive trainings in soil management, nutrition improvement and nursery management at an increasing agricultural production and productivity and expansion of community-based smallholder irrigation or KOBZI development project in the province. More in the following report by Krivet Chituta of Nais.
In irrigation development, soil and nursery management, and nutrition improvement, we intend to share with the farmers. These are officers from various districts under the Ministry of Agriculture in Northwestern Province. They've gathered here in Sorowezi for the training. As part of the training under Community-Based Irrigation Development Project, ECOBS, the officers visited Sandangombe model site and conducted some field demonstrations with farmers.
I'm here at the site where we have a model site under the ECOBS project.
and we are holding demonstrations on how to do nursery management. We are promoting vegetable farming amongst our farmers. Vegetable production is an important part of the agricultural industry because it gives farmers a means of making money, an income generating activity. It also supplements their household food securities.
Why we are having nutrition improvement? Because we want to try by all means to improve the nutritional status of the community. Our target in the communities are especially children under 5 and children under 2, the pregnant mothers and the lactating mothers.
ECOBS as a project is training farmers in soil management. The reason is simple. Soil is a living thing which supports all forms of life because it's from the soil that we grow crops. So we encourage farmers to make the bokashi compost, which takes 2 to 3 weeks, so that their soils are improved in terms of soil fertility as well as soil water holding capacity.
The local leadership is happy with the project.
There are a lot of things we've done, some composite manure, how to start up a nursery, a lot of things as I'm trying to put it. But more interesting enough is the nutrition part of it. They've touched a lot of aspects, how to bring these things in diversity and come up with a nutritious food at the end of the day.
The participants from the district are also confident to continue implementing the ECOBS activities.
Planned today, everyone or every district has planned to increase the length of their canals. When you increase the length of the canal, that means you have increased the command area. When you increase the command area, you have increased the area under irrigation.
Northwestern Provincial Agriculture Coordinator Muyobo Shimabare closed the midterm workshop held at Chafukuma Farmer Training Center with a call for serious implementation of the program.
As we return to our stations, let us hit the ground running. Let's not waste any time. And let us go flat out in achieving the targets and milestones that we have set for ourselves.
Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, through its ECOB development project, is being implemented in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture. Krivach Tuta, reporting in Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
This is Camnet Television and not just another channel. We take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
It's census time. The 2022 Census of Population and Housing will be conducted from 18th August to 14th September 2022. The census collects a lot of data for use in various aspects of social and economic planning for the country. We are all required to participate in the census by being counted. You will be counted from your usual dwelling place by a census enumerator. Please receive and cooperate with the census enumerator and provide the required information when you will be visited. Your responses to the census questions will be treated with strict confidentiality and will be used for statistical purposes only.
Hi, I'm coming to count you.
Because everyone counts.
This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency with support from the UNFPA.
Welcome back. And now in international news, Angolans are going to the polls for the 5th time in history on August 24. More than 14 million voters are registered for Wednesday's general elections. Meanwhile, Ukrainians in regions closest to the fighting says hospitals in the western city of Lviv are a lifeline. Most of the injured being treated in Lviv come from the east of Ukraine. However, those hospitals are struggling to cope with the volume and nature of the injuries. They need more medical supplies and doctors trained in trauma surgery. For more in international news, here are the stories.
Angolans are going to the polls for the 5th time in history. More than 14 million voters are registered for Wednesday's general elections. But what are Angolans voting for? In the Republic of Angola, we have a presidential parliamentary system of government, which means the President of the Republic is elected according to the model of a parliamentary system, but with the powers of a presidential system. We elect members of parliament in a single list, and if the head of the list of the winning party is elected, he automatically becomes president of the republic. The election not only brings a new president, voters also choose their representatives in the National Assembly and local deputies. On the one hand, we have the National Constituency, which elects 130 members, and the 18 provincial constituencies each elect 5 members. Our legislator established 2 methods, the system of proportional representation and the Hond method. In the system of proportional representation, seats are distributed to the national constituency. The Hond method is used for provincial constituencies. There is a novelty in these elections. For the first time, Angolans living abroad have the right to vote remotely.
After escaping the war in eastern Ukraine, some of the injured arrive here in Lviv, on the western side of the country, to get much-needed medical help. Nina Svirun lost her leg during an attack on her village in the Kherson region.
I was together with my children. They went inside and I was outside, and this happened. I couldn't call to my daughter-in-law. There were no windows and doors. Everything was destroyed.
Fighting continues in eastern Ukraine as Russia's military pushes to try to secure control over the Donbas region. But many civilians are paying the price. People here arrive with wounds that are infected with shrapnel, clothing, among other things. Some of the wounds are weeks old. Doctors here tell us that they're desperate to get more antibiotics and other medical supplies to treat those who are injured. Volunteer doctors like James Henderson are helping as best they can.
Same injuries.
He's using his annual leave from the National Health Service in the United Kingdom to carry out reconstructive surgeries.
Mainly civilians with horrible war injuries from landmines, gunshots, shrapnel, blast injuries. Our reconstructive techniques are very difficult to do in this environment, but we are managing. Essentially the equipment they've got here is about Second World War era. And so we are using kind of techniques that would have been used in those times.
70% of patients do not survive a limb injury, and that's why training doctors with new techniques is crucial. Dr. Knat Hedic says he has been working non-stop since the war started.
We're fighting with the country that don't separate the children, the women, the old men, and the militaries. They strike to the civilian infrastructure, to the school. They destroyed more than 300 hospitals in the east and in the center of Ukraine.
It's been almost 6 months since the war began, and those who are being treated here are grateful to get a second chance.
It's now time for sports news. And our sports news, Disability Rights Watch Programs Coordinator Bruce Joma says government should consider investing in Paralympic sports that will uplift the living standards of persons with disabilities. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Joma states that a lot of Paralympic sports in the country lack equipment. Mr. Joma says persons with disabilities also need to enjoy different sports disciplines like any other human being. Choma has urged persons with disabilities to come on board and embrace sports.
The appeal we can make is to the new Dawn administration to
ensure that they provide funding to the Paralympics Committee. I think we've not had much activity around Paralympic sports in Zambia. As a result, even the participation of people with disabilities in Paralympics at the international level has been very dismal. That comes from the fact that we don't have an active, system in the country. We don't have the infrastructure. In most places, we don't have the sports amenities that can cater for people with disabilities. You see that wheelchair basketball in Lusaka is only done at Disacare, which is in Livala. When you go there, you find that the infrastructure is also run down. We don't have investments coming through into that. You go to the OYDC, you find again that there's no inclusion in terms of the way sports are being conducted there. So we need to really do more to encourage people with disabilities to participate even in the mainstream sport.
Still in sports, Nkwazi and Power Dynamos kick-started the 2022-2023 MTN Super League at Nkoloma Stadium. There was late drama as Power Dynamos won it in the last minute, with debutant Jacob Kaunda scoring after coming on from the bench. Power Dynamos start the season with a 1-0 win away from home. New Boys Lumwana Radiance shocked Tonka Twende after beating the Choma-based team 3-1 coming from behind. Green Eagles scored first through Hosea Silwimba, the first goal of the league. Lumwana Radiance fought back with goals from Benjamin Mukanda and a brace from Abraham Kai Football Club 1-0 away in Chambeshi with a lone goal by Abraham Siankombo. Last season, runners-up Zesco United played out to a 1-0 draw away at Prison Leopards. Zesco United scored first through Alfred Leku, but Damiano Collar's second half goal ensured that the two teams shared the points. Forest Rangers and Kansenshi Dynamos played out to a goalless draw in Ndola, while the champions Red Arrows Football Club were held by newly promoted Napsa Stars at Nkoloma Stadium. Muza and Green Buffaloes played out to a 1-0 draw. Andrew Perry scored first before Gordon Mashata leveled up for the Army-sponsored outfit. On that note, we come to the end of the news, but to take a look at the stories making headlines before we go. Legacy Lodge gutted as Kapalala Market fire victims continue to complain. President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA urged to suspend student loan repayments. Davis Miller cast doubt on PF bouncing back to power. In international news, Angolans are going to the polls for the 5th time. And in sports news, government urged to enhance investment in Paralympic sports. When I look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15, and it reads, "Praise the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. According to his great mercy, he has given us a new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead." Once again, thank you for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Have a good night.